A first listen to Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. So Bob Dylan is considered one of the great writers of his time. In terms of influence, he influenced a lot of artists, including his colleagues and peers such as Paul McCartney and John Lennon, who often cite him as a great artistic influence. In terms of his music and writing, I have actually reacted to some of his writing beforehand in the form of All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, which was rejigged, of course, to tell the story that Hendrix was trying to tell. However, the actual content, the writing, was absolutely brilliant. It was very poetic and kind of this metaphorical tale being told. So I've been excited to listen to his solo work since then. This track is called Like a Rolling Stone. It's often considered to be one of the greatest songs of all time. It was very, very revolutionary for its time. When you look at lists like the Rolling Stones 500 greatest songs, it's often at the top of that list. So I've been very excited to listen to this, and so here is that reaction. Okay, this is a reaction to Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, a suggested track from the chat. As usual, I've got the chat here with me and the lyrics to help me follow along. So let's get this going.
Time in your prime, then you people call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you. You used to laugh about everybody that was hanging out. Now you don't talk so loud.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there really quickly and give my initial takes. Now, I didn't know what to expect from Bob Dylan. I've heard so many different things about how he was so important to music, how lyrically he is one of the great poets of his time. And I heard he was a folk singer, right? So this is a really, really different sort of sounding track than I expected. I expected something that was much more guitar-led, more folky. I know Bob Dylan had this really powerful moment in a live performance where he plugged in his electric guitar into an amp and started playing electric. Bob Dylan Goes Electric. I'm guessing this is after that moment because this is a sound that I was totally not expecting from him. This is much more sounding like a regular rock track of the time, which is sort of awesome to see him embracing that too. And in terms of the lyrical story being told, it sounds as if we're following along the lines of a girl who sort of was once upon a time sort of at the top of, you know, some kind of social hierarchy. She seems to be really doing well in her life. And I think things have turned around and she's kind of now down on her luck. That's kind of my guess for the story so far. Again, Turtles is saying Bob Dylan is one of his favorite music lyric writers. So interesting story so far. Seems to be a very powerful source of inspiration for a lot of writers. We just covered Lying Eyes by the Eagles, about another girl who was sort of manipulating people. I don't know what's going on with a lot of these rock stars, but they seem to have had running ins with a lot of interesting young ladies, let's say, who have done them wrong. Anyways, let's keep this going.
How does it feel to be without a home? Like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone. Are you gone his eyes and say, do you want to make a deal? How does it feel? How does it feel to be on your own with no direction home? A complete unknown, like a rolling stone.
Okay, awesome. So much to talk about. Let's start with the phrase "like a rolling stone." I believe what the phrase sort of means is a place with no home, right? Someone who is continuously kind of jumping around from place to place, which makes sense. The story of this young lady who is now seems to be homeless. What I find kind of funny about the track so far is Dylan's sort of mean perspective, man. What did this girl do to Dylan? He is almost heartless in his way he's describing this thing. I mean, talk about hilarious lyrics. Really funny. Great sense of humor, I'd say, in his writing that comes across. This bit right here, right? Nobody ever taught you how to live out on the streets, and now you're gonna have to get used to it. You say you never compromise, which is probably her stance she had when she was up and doing well in her life with the mystery tramp, but now you realize he's not selling any alibis. That is hilarious. So he's describing how you thought you would never have to compromise in your life, but now you're dealing with another homeless man. I mean, he's described it in a kind of a mean way as well. And yeah, he's not buying any of your bullshit. Like you better compromise with this dude. You don't know what's going to be happening with you. What a crazy sort of perspective he's writing from, man. He's so mean in this thing. It's as Mandala's saying, it's like savagely written. And she probably had some lying eyes too, as Bobby's saying. She probably said his poetry was lousy. Dude, whatever she did, she fucking hurt his feelings. Now, let's talk about the music. Musically, I was saying how I was expecting a folk track, and it's completely different. I really love the music in the background. There's a lot of details that you might be missing if you don't pay attention. It sounds like a tambourine is being played almost. There's some great drum fills, a great electric guitar that is playing throughout. And then lastly, you have Dylan's voice. Now, I'm not going to lie here and say that I like his voice. To me, I think Bobby was saying the same thing. He wishes someone else would sing it. It was interesting to hear his track All Along the Watchtower being sung by Jimi Hendrix, who had a voice which I really felt as if fit those lyrics, those very mystic, shamanic lyrics, which had perhaps Native American inspirations it was drawing from. Again, fit perfectly with Hendrix's voice. Dylan has a very, I want to say it correctly, maybe whiny voice, has a certain texture to it that, I don't know, he's not got the greatest notes he can belt out. He doesn't have a super strong voice. It is very unique. Perhaps I'll get used to it with time. He's also got a very strange delivery. In hip-hop, we call it flow. In terms of how your syllables or words hit within the beat of the song. He has a very unique one. Very, I don't know, connected to his own style and his voice. It never fits in the groove of the track that you expect. He's kind of going at this weird pace. Super interesting. Regardless, I really like the song, especially the lyrics so far. Let's keep this going.
Understood that it ain't no good. You shouldn't let other people get your kicks for you. You used to ride on a chrome horse with your diplomat, who carried on his shoulder a Siamese cat. Ain't it hard when you discover that he really wasn't where it's at? He took from you everything
harmonicas. Okay, super interesting verse so far. Maybe my favorite and the most sort of witty. Again, Dylan's wit really comes through on this track. It's scathing almost. And the more I listen to the track, the more I think it's not actually about a specific girl. I think this is kind of Dylan almost fantasizing about a group of people he feels as if are snobby, the upper class, the bougie, the bourgeoisie, who finally, you know, get their comeuppance, who are now find themselves in a position where the same people they look down upon are now their equals. And this verse really set that sort of image in my mind. You never turned around to see their frowns on the jugglers and the clowns when they did all their tricks for you, right? This idea of this princess who has jesters at her whim and call, and then has an awesome line here. Used to ride on a chrome horse with your diplomat, who carried on his shoulders a Siamese cat. A Siamese cat, like the idea of, I guess, in a lot of like kingships and stuff in Egypt, I guess cats represented like royalty and, you know, had sort of they thought of them to have these kind of Nosferatu powers, not Nosferatu, like foreseeing powers, and are super bougie. I guess that's what he's talking about there. Awesome lyrics, man. Scathing critique of people, I guess, who he feels as if were misusing their power and their fortunes. Take this back a little bit.
Princess on the steeple and all the pretty people out drinking, thinking that they got it made. Exchanging all precious gifts, but you better take a diamond ring. You better pawn it, babe. You used to be so amused at Napoleon and Reagan and the language that he used. Now he calls you, you can't refuse. When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. You're invisible now, you got no secrets to conceal. How does it feel? How does it feel to be on your own? With no direction home, like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone.
Wow. This song grew on me the more and more I listened to it. By the end of the track, I'm loving it. I even kind of like his voice. I mean, it's a weird delivery he has, a weird cadence in terms of where his words fit in the beat. As I was saying, it's very unique to his voice and his writing style, I guess. I can say that. But it grew with time. It grew on me. It certainly grew on me. And if we start with the lyrics, the musicality of the song, there's awesome stuff going on, man. The harmonicas, which is slowly becoming my favorite instrument that I hear in a lot of rock songs. It adds so much flavor to what we're listening to. Of course, Led Zeppelin uses it quite often in a very different way. It suits his folk style. There's awesome pianos being played, great guitars. But again, I mean, people are saying he's one of the greatest writers of all time. His wit is so sharp here, man. Some of the lines he had throughout this whole thing. And the final ending of the song is really fits kind of what I was thinking that this song is actually, which this song sort of represents, I think, is a sort of fantasy in Dylan's head. I mean, you got to think when he made these songs in the 60s, there's a huge uproar of feeling amongst regular people that there needs to be a big change in society. Perhaps this is what he was looking for, a comeuppance for the people who are in power and were looking down on others. And this is the tale that he's told here, and in an awesome, funny way too. And he's kind of based it around this girl who kind of had everything in her life, and then finds herself as a homeless person on the street. Awesome story, man. I know this is considered one of the great songs in history, and I think probably influential wise, not many tracks around this time would have had it. This is a very forward-thinking track, man. Not the way it's sung and the way it sounds, but the concept, the themes in the record. I can hear this in a song today. This is very much what people would put in a song now. Very metaphorical tale, you could say, and very vivid lyrically. Awesome track, man. Awesome track.